Hello and welcome back to another live stream where you watch me suck at spelling. My name is someone who can't even spell release correctly. I'm gonna leave that into the video. But hey, hindsight is 2020 because I think we have a lot to discuss today. The topic is functions and filters and it sounds heavy AF. Let's dive right into it.
Okay, welcome back, and congratulations for making it this far. Trust me, I know it's not easy, especially the first time around.
Thank you. I thought I was the only one. This is not my first time around and this is still not easy for me. But thank you for saying that.
Okay, so now in this video, this should be fun. I get to introduce you to functions, which you can sort of
Fun functions. I see what you did there.
think of as verbs of the programming world. Functions are responsible for doing things. Let me give you a couple examples. So have a look at our books array once again, and you'll see that I've added just a couple of things. First up, the homework from the last episode requested that you add a release year to each book,
Or release year, which I've done.
and then we display it right down here within our loop. So I've
Also
done
done.
that. Next up, I've added a third book here called The Martian that is also by Andy Weir. And yeah, the reason why I'm doubling up on authors here is because we're not just going to discuss functions in this video, but you will also learn about filtering.
Okay, I should probably do that too. So what do I have? Mario Puzo, Raffle the Bailey, Gregory David Roberts. I don't know, did Raffle the Bailey have another book after this? I think Shantaram 2, which was called Mountain Man or something like that, came out, but it Art of Thinking Clearly. Stop reading the news. I love this. I love this. I love this. I love this. So let me do that. I'll add another array. I just love the title. I haven't read the book. It sounds like a banger. Let me copy all of this. Control C, Control V. Now I get to go to my clipboard history and paste this in. So by the way, quick shortcut, I press the Windows key and V over here instead of C, Control V. So what that does on Windows is gives you the clipboard history, and this is what I had previously copied. So I'm going to put this in here. It's a bigger book, but bigger title, but I'm just going to stick with that. By No News Book. And what a year to launch this book, 2020, the year of the thing which shall not be mentioned. We all know what happened in 2020. So excellent timing to release a book called Stop Reading the News. Cool.
So yeah, imagine this will ultimately be some kind of book repository that you maintain. And in real life, there are hundreds or thousands of books that you want to present to the user. In this case, I'm hard coding it, so we'll keep it very simple. But yeah, one of the things a user will instantly need to do is filter the books according to maybe the release year or the author.
Also, if this is your first time building a program like this is not typically how we do this. This is hard coded. So I want to expand on what he meant by hard coding. This is what we've written down in our lines of code as a variable. Typically what we would do is we'll have something, a whole different program or a whole different server or a whole different service called either an API, or we will have a database that we'll pull from on our own server. And that would be, think of a database sort of like a Excel sheet, like a spreadsheet, and that's where we'll pull all of that data from. So that's typically what we do in production, meaning when we're actually doing this for reals. But because we're still learning and this is just practice, we are hard coding the data, which means we're actually putting the data into the logic of the program over here, which is typically not what we want to do. But right now it's fine. Hope that helps.
So it would be nice if I could say, well, just give me only the books that were written by Andy Weir, because that's all I'm interested in right now. Okay, so how exactly would we do it? All right, I'll give you a couple ideas. Let's scroll down here. Here's our loop. And yeah, notice we're saying, all right, for each book says book, and then display a list item. But maybe we could also say, well, if the book was written by Andy Weir, only on that condition should I render a list item. Otherwise, skip it.
Okay, pause. Let me just fix a couple of things that were bothering me. I know that the spelling of Ruffled or Belly was incorrect, so it's not Ruffle, it's Rolf. It's not rolling on the floor laughing, it's actually ROLF, I think. Sorry, let me try and see if. Yeah, it's just that ROLF. So, what I'll do is press Control H. No, not this. Control F. Yeah, Control F. And click this arrow over here and replace Ruffled or Belly with ROLF, Rolf Topeli. Excuse me. See, it changed it right here. The other thing that was bothering me is release here. Typically, you want to like refactor something like this, but since this is not a variable, it doesn't make any difference. So I'm going to do the same thing. Since it's essentially in the same file, all of the code is in the same file. I'm going to do this. It's release RELEASE. Is this again? Sorry, my dyslexia is catching up to me. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay, fixed. Now, this was an unordered list of all books. So I'm going to change this to all books. And right now, he wants us to do, I'll put in this thing, put in an H2 here, books by Rolf Dobelli. Belly. So this would be a unordered list, and each list item would be let's get to it right now. I'm just going to say book. Oh, I haven't even started my server yet. Sorry. There you go. There's my server. Cool. This looks okay to me.
Okay, here's what we could do. Open up PHP, and we could say, if the book's author, and I'm going to add a little typo here.
Okay, I think I know what he's going to do. Let's try it. So he opened up PHP. PHP if the book's author you know what, even before that we still need to loop through this, so I think I'll have to repeat this for each, but that's good practice. Let me do that. Books as book, close this, then I'm going to end for each. I'll just copy this. Notice what I did there. I did not select anything in VS Code. I just put my cursor there. I press Ctrl C. If I press Ctrl V, that's what happens. So you don't have to select any text. If you're by default, if you want to copy the entire line, just take your cursor there and VS Code will copy the whole line for you. Cool. So if the book is authored by Rolf Dobelli, I'm gonna PHP, not PJP, PHP. If the author book author equals RO. I'm going to paste that in again from my clipboard history. Again, I'm so sorry I said Raffle instead of Rolf Tobeli. And if the book's author is Rolf Tobeli, so what I did here, by the way, is two equal to signs together. Okay, so my font converts that into this fancy thing that you see here. So if that happens, then I think curly brace. I want to copy this and paste it here. I should probably echo this. Right? Huh. And why is it? If book author is this, then echo a list item for book. Else do nothing. Return. Is return a keyword here? No. Oh, I get it, because I haven't closed the PHP tag. There you go. Yeah. Did that work? It should just say 2 books. Okay, it did not echo anything. Very, very interesting. Inside the unordered list, if the echo, let me just say 1. Oh, okay, because the book author should be Jesus Christ. Sorry. It should be this. The format I misformatted it. Yeah, there you go. So 2 books here. Now let me add the book title instead. Book title name, sorry. Yeah. Why are you yelling at me? I want the name of the book. Okay, let's see. Oops. Okay, let's see what's happening. Let me concatenate it. That's the easy thing to do, right? Okay, this is, yeah, this did work, but why were you, I don't know. Why were you showing me an error? Cool. He's probably going to have a shorter syntax like this. Let's see if we can do it. So if I just do this, just pattern matching here, I don't know if it'll work. I'm going to do the PHP mode thing of I not need this. I won't need this either. This is what we learned last time. Okay. And I don't need this either. And here, do I need this? I don't need this. But I do need a end if. So I'm gonna enter PHP. Say end if. colon. This should still work. This should give us the same. Just to test that, let's say he also wrote The Godfather, which is not true. Yeah, it works. So I'm gonna change this. Cool.
But just come along for the ride. If it equals Andy Weir, and let's use the alternative syntax, only on that condition should we render a list item. And then I will close this out at the bottom, just like that. So yeah, you might think this would work, but if we have a look in the browser and we give it a refresh, we still get all of the items, which is weird because we know.
Okay, so what's happening here is this is an assignment operator. Anytime you see in programming and a single equal to sign, that means assign this value, the book author, to Andy Weir. But it makes absolutely no sense because you're saying if you are assigning this value to Andy Weir, then do all of that. So in memory, what's happening is the program is assigning the value of Andy Weir to all of the books in the list. But that's absolutely not true, and therefore it is showing you every single book. So because that's not true, you don't want to ever use a single equal to sign in any if statement in any programming language. You always use a double equal to sign or a triple equal to sign. The difference between the double equal to and the triple equal to is double equal to checks if this is the same value, and triple equal to checks if this is also the same type. So that means, is it also a string, or is it also a number, or is it also a boolean? So it's a stricter equality checker. Triple equal to, double equal to or triple equal to, both should work in this case, and I've chosen to use double equal to. Let's see what he does.
Know that Do Android Stream of Electric Sheep was not written by Andy Weir. So what exactly is going on here? And the issue is this equal sign. All right, so here's the deal. When we use a single equal sign, like I've done here, we are literally assigning a value. So this effectively says, all right, for this book.
That's why I prefer using the term assignment operator. It's a bit of a mouthful, but a single equal to sign is always an assignment operator in programming, meaning it assigns this value to this key.
Book's author key, make it equal to or assign it to Andy Weir. So for example, let me show you something. If we also included the author at the very end, so let's say echo out the book's author like this. And if I switch back and refresh, yeah, notice that now.
Yeah, see, because in memory it thinks that the programmers, we want the computer to assign that value to that key.
Every book is written by Andy Weir, which of course we know is incorrect. And yeah, the reason is because we are assigning a value rather than checking for equality. Think of it like this. Loop over all of the books, and for each one, set the book's author equal to Andy Weir, and then render the list item. That's what's happening here. But in our heads, we thought we were checking for equality. We thought we were saying, well, if the book's author is Andy Weir, only on that condition do we proceed. Okay, so how do we check for equality? We use, and it's a little weird, but we use 3 equal signs. And once again, my font will make it look a little fancier. Just make sure you type that equal sign 3 times and you're good to go. So now watch what happens. If I come back and give it a refresh.
I guess he has a point. He has a point. So instead of 2 equals, which did work, it's probably best practice to have a 3rd equal to sign here as well. So my font does that thing too, the triple equal thing. The font is Fira Code. I mentioned it in the previous video. Okay, this looks good to me. So let me step you through this. So this is essentially all the books, which is what you see over here. I'm gonna put this side by side. So first up, I'm saying give me a headline for all books. This is what you see here. Then for each book in that array, I want you to link out to the purchase link, which you see here. and assign that link to the name of the book, which you see clearly here, Shantaram, Godfather, Art of Thinking Clearly, and Stop Reading the News. And then mention the year in which the book was released, and then the author of the book. Okay, so this is straightforward. Next up, what I'm doing is these are just the books by Rolf Dobelli, The Art of Thinking Clearly and Stop Reading the News. So these books, what I'm doing again is for each book inside the list of books we have, the array of books we have over here. For a single book, if the author of the book is strictly equal to Rolf Dobelli, again we're not using the single equal to sign because that just means assign that value. That's the assignment operator. Instead we're using triple equal to, which says checks if this is the case, if this key corresponds to this value. If that's true, then give me a list item and tell me the name of the book. So here it's Art of Thinking Clearly and Stop Reading the News, and the if statement and the for each loop as well. Pretty straightforward. It takes practice, it takes a little bit of practice, but I'm glad I can step you all through the logic.
Fresh, we only show and render the books that were written by Andy Weir. And in this case, we ignored Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep because it wasn't written by Andy. So yeah, a single equal sign when you want to assign a value. Triple equal when you want to check equality. Okay, so I'm feeling a little better. This does work. But yeah, we are hard coding the author's name, which isn't overly practical, but yeah, it works. Instead though, it would be nice if I could create a function that filtered the books automatically. And yeah, don't forget, functions are like the verbs of the programming world. Their job is to be called, they then do something, and then often they return.
That's such a tweetable take. I'm going to tweet that. I'll tweet that off stream.
Results. Okay, here's how we define a function, and I'll
I want to mention that as a comment though.
do it right down here. We start with the keyword function, and then we give it a name. And just like defining a variable, you can name it anything you want. In our case, I want to filter by the author. So let's be a little on the nose. Filter by author. Then we open and close a parentheses, and then we add our braces. Okay, so we're starting to see a pattern here. Remember how we added braces when defining a conditional? And we learned that if that condition was truthy, if it evaluated to something that is positive, basically, only on that condition would we execute the logic within the braces. And the exact
Okay, let's give this a shot. In fact, let me watch him and then
same thing is true for a function. This logic within here will only be executed when I actively call that function. And here's how we call a function. Reference its name, filter by author, and then you can see my editor's helping me here. Open and close parentheses, and then we end our statement. This is my way of saying call the function that is named filter by author. Okay, so let's give this a shot.
Okay, one thing that I want to emphasize is there are two separate things happening over here. One is the function definition and the other is the function call. So what's happening over here is Jeffrey is defining the function, meaning define the verb. He's defining what happens when you ask the program to filter by author. He's going to do that here in the comments that he's mentioned over here, the 2 slash lines. He's going to do that right now. So that's the function definition part. The other part is calling the function. That means he's telling the program to do exactly what he defined. So this is Jeffrey teaching the program how to perform the verb, how to perform the action, and this is Jeffrey telling it to perform the action. Okay, this is how you do it, and this is please do it.
Shots. let's play around for just a moment, and we'll say maybe right down here, let's open a paragraph tag, and to start, let's echo out whatever is returned from that function call. And yeah, take a moment and ask yourself what you think we're going to see here.
Absolutely nothing, because nothing was described.
Let's have a look in the browser. Give it a refresh, and I don't see anything, but if you think about it, that makes perfect sense. We're calling this function here. The function doesn't do anything at all, and it doesn't return anything at all, so of course we don't echo anything at all. That makes sense. Okay, so now let's have it return something. Gibberish. Return, and notice I used this keyword here, return, and I can return an object, an array, a string, a boolean, a number, whatever I want. Let's just say gibberish. And if I come back and refresh, aha, it works. All right, so I know I'm literally returning gibberish here, but this is actually pretty cool because...
Okay, pause. So I want to emphasize the word return over here. A lot of times what I got worked up about when I was new to programming was I would use print or echo over here. So what's happening essentially is this is a verb which is agnostic of context. So the program doesn't know whether this is running in which environment. What it does know is I am supposed to, once I perform this verb, once I perform this action of filtering by author, I am supposed to give you the output of gibberish, and that's what we're doing over here. And remember in fact I wish he'd scrolled a little, but over here he did the echo syntax of PHP. So that's where we are echoing it out, and because the output of this is gibberish, we're getting this over here. So return has nothing to do with the fact that it is displayed on your web page. All of that is handled over here and not here. So let me follow along and show you this by building along. Okay, so this is the main PHP tag. Over here I don't know why I put that there. I'll delete this. Over here I'm gonna define a function by saying function filter by auth, author, and it does something. Okay, then over here I'm going to call it. So I'll say I'll have another h2. I'll say filtered by function, the new function, and I'll enter PHP mode, but not just any PHP mode. Remember, I'm entering PHP echo mode, which is this, and I'll say filter by author. So this is me calling the function. This is me telling the program, hey, do what I taught you to do up here. Okay, so what will happen here? Nothing. But if I return you got this, then it'll show me a paragraph tag with you got this. No, it did not. Oh, I forgot the you got this, but you still need the semicolon. Let's see. Yeah, see. Okay, now let's see what happens if I run echo here. It might show me an error. It doesn't. Interesting. But typically you don't want to do this because it'll lead to undesired behavior. I'm going to return, because return means give me the output. This is the output that I expect every time. Cool, let's continue.
Now, within this function, I can do anything I want. I could have conditionals, I could have loops, I could even interact with services outside of my application. And the coolest part is I get to isolate and abstract all of that often confusing logic behind a simple function with a readable name that describes what all of that code is doing. So that's sort of what we're doing here. We're just taking confusing logic and tucking it behind a function with a nice and readable name that describes what all of that logic is doing. Okay, so now think about it. Filter by author, well, that probably should receive something. It should receive all of the books here, and it should then filter them and return only the books that were written by, in this case, Andy Weir. Okay, we have our work cut out for us. How do we do that? Well, the first thing I said is that the function needs to receive the books. So we can specify that a function requires a certain type of data by declaring it within the parentheses here. In this case, I need some books to filter. Okay, so now if I come back to the browser and I give it a refresh, immediately I get an error. Too few arguments to function filter by author. Okay, so PHP looked at this and it saw, okay, you had this function here and it requires some books to work off of. But then you called the function and you never passed through the books, and that is an error, so we see it in the browser here. Okay, let's pass through the books. Come back and give it a refresh, and now, again, we haven't changed the logic, but we have removed the error. Okay, so now I can work.
Okay, I want to interject over here, and there's a small assumption which I need to correct. This can be anything. So here, I don't have to say books. I can say, again, like the last previous example, if I say Bill or Billy to be clearer, that's perfectly fine. But over here, because there is no variable like called Billy that I've defined anywhere, I have to mention books. Okay, so this will still work. Okay, so the reason I call this Billy, although it's a terrible name for an argument, that's what it's called over here. When you're defining a function, anything between these brackets is called an argument. That's not me being hard to work with. It's literally what it's called, argument. Okay, and this is called a parameter. I think that's right, yeah. When you're actually calling the function, it's called a parameter. When you're defining the function, it's called an argument. Maybe the other way around, but one of the two. That's not too important. What's important is realizing that this can be absolutely anything. This doesn't have to be books. So I've called it Billy. I'm going to change this to list of books, okay? Of books. Actually, an array of books. So array of books. So that doesn't change anything at all. You'll see that. But it's clear to understand that this has nothing to do with this.
Work off of books, and that's going to be equivalent to what we see here. So yeah, if we wanted to, we could say, I'm going to show you the long form way, and then I will show you a short form. So let's get rid of this conditional, because we will no longer take that approach, and we'll clean this up. For this video, the code we will write will be a little naive, maybe a little unsophisticated. And then in the next video, I will show you a dedicated array filter function that will make the code a lot more terse. But yeah, this is a good first step. So you might think to yourself, all right, I have a list of books, and I want to return a new list of books that were only written by Andy Weir. Okay, so we might say, well, create a new array called filtered books. Then we could say, loop over the books that you gave us. We know how to do that. And then check the author of the book. All right. Well, if that book's author is triple equal Andy Weir, in that case, add that book to our new array. We can add or append to an array using this syntax here. So notice the brackets here, append this book as a new item within this array. Okay, but now what if the author of the book is not Andy Weir? Well, in that case, we don't do anything at all. We just continue on to the next item of the loop. So when we're done, if we did this correctly, filtered books should now be an array that contains 2 items. All right, so at the bottom, let's return our new array. And yeah, I'm excited. Let's try this out. So right down here where we loop over all of the books, let's change it. Let's now loop over only the books by Andy. So I could say filter by author. And in this case, PHP Storm auto-completes for me. But yeah, again, notice how we call the function, we send through the data it requires. That triggers this function here, which means the logic between the braces runs. And in this case, it builds up an array and it returns that array. So now we are looping over what was returned from this function call. All right, let's give this a run. Back to Firefox, give it a refresh, and congratulations. It took a little work, but now we are successfully filtering an array according to the author.
Okay, let's do this. I love it. This is, like he mentioned, this is the longer way of doing it, but I love it because it's so clear what's happening when we do this. Okay, now what we need is a filtered array, so I'll call that a variable. Okay, equals an empty array right now. And then I'm gonna say for array of books as book. Actually, it's not for, it's for each. Okay. Open the curly brace. If the author of the book equals, not equals, triple equals rolf.le rolf.le, then I want to add the book to our list of books. So to do that, I'm going to use the syntax here, filtered array. I think it was square brackets equals books, yeah. Equals, not books, but book. Again, this has nothing to do with this or that. I can call this Joey, I can call this Emma, I can call this Prathamesh, whatever I want. So I'll just say individual book. Here as well. Book. And here as well. Hope this makes it clearer what's happening. And of course I still need to end with a semicolon. Cool, so the filtered array is done. Now what I need to do is return the filtered array. Now where do I do that? I can't do that over here. So this is something that also would catch me off guard. I can't do that over here because I'm still in the for each loop. What I can do is do it outside of the for each loop, but within the function definition. So over here, see this pink curly bracket? I can't do it here. I can't do it inside of these two because that's the for each loop. I can't do it inside the blue curly bracket because that's inside the if loop. So outside both of these, and I can't do it outside of this because that's basically outside of the function. So I have to do it over here. Return filtered array. I hope that's clearer. And I of course have to put the semicolon as well. I'm not above the semicolon. So we have a filtered array over here, and I would probably need to do this. Enter PHP mode, just like it did over here. I'll just copy that. I'll paste it. But for each filtered array, filtered by author, book, books, yeah. For this, and I'm going to end the for each. So I'll go here, Control C, Control V. Okay, so what do I need here? I would need firstly I would need an unordered list here. Okay. By the way, what I'm doing is I'm pressing Alt and down arrow key to move the entire line down. And here I'll need a list item for each list item. And inside the list item, I would like to echo out the book's title. Not title, name. Okay. I think we got it. I think we got it, boys. Let's see. No, we don't got it. Why do we don't got it? Rolf Dovelli. RLFTUPELLI. Filter by author. Okay, let's see what he's doing here. For each filter by author as book.
Now to finish up, last little thing.
And for each li item, book release here. Am I doing it wrong? Well, this is what you signed up for. Let's see this. The book name filtered by author should be, so maybe it's not filtered array over here. Filtered books. Okay. Filtered books equals book. Filtered array. Equals individual book. This is the assignment operator. What do I do here? Maybe let me try doing this. PHP and PHP dd book. So what will happen is this will give me some sort of what do you call it? Is it dt or is it ttt? Neither. Let's try tt. Okay, let's see what's happening. So the PHP function looks fine. Return as a book. Did I forget a semicolon somewhere? I don't think I did. You know, if I okay, I think this is what it's happening. Please, please, please. No? Okay. What happens if I just change this to double inverted comma? If this, then return here. Then add the filter to add the individual book to filtered array. This is fine. This is fine. Array of books is fine as well. I have passed in books. Add the book name here. Okay, can I just print out the entire book? I don't think I can. Inspect body filtered by function is empty. If I do this, it's still empty. So why is the book for each filter by book, filter by author books as book? What did you do? PHP for each filter by author books as book. Chat, help me out here. Oh God. Let me debug this code. You know what? PHP for beginners GitHub. Jeffrey Way. Yes. So not the main. Oh, this is only one branch. Okay. What am I looking at? No, not any of these. Episode 1 or 2 maybe. Commit messages, right? Yeah, so episode 39 is here. None of these really. Okay, cool, I got this. If I funny face of Jeffrey, I'm sorry, awkward pause.
I don't see any reason to hard code the author's name. Why don't we make that a parameter as well? So now we could say, all right, we're going to filter.
Okay, pause. So what have I done wrong here? Filter by author. So this is wrong. Okay, so first mistake fixed. Filtered books is fine for each array of books as individual book. If the individual this is what I did wrong. See, if the not the individual book but the author of the book. I'm so sorry, so sorry. I'm so sorry. This should work now as expected, if I can type correctly. Yeah, there you go. I'm so sorry. So what had happened was I forgot to say that the individual book's author is Rolf Topelli, and instead the computer thought I was comparing the entire book to Rolf Topelli, excuse me. So that's where I made the mistake. I forgot to filter by author, so I forgot to mention the key here. Sorry about that, but thank you for sticking around and debugging this with me. Now he wants us to add the author name as a parameter here as well, or as an argument here as well. Okay.
Filter by author, but which author? Well, you have to give us that information.
Okay, so let's follow this logic, comma, author name. Okay, and instead of this, I'm gonna say author name. And over here, it's going to yell at us because it's expecting two parameters. I'll say Rolf Dobelli. Should work. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So see what I did? Instead of hard coding the author name, I just added that as a second parameter over here, and I added that over here. So that's what I love about programming. That's the silent superpower of programming. Once you've figured one paradigm out, one way of solving a problem out, extending upon it is almost magical. It gives you so much superpowers. It gives you such a powerful ability to change things if you understood the logic behind one part of an application.
So we'll do that here. Author is now a variable. Could be Andy Weir, or it could be the author of any book in our database. Okay, so all we have to do is swap out the hard-coded string with our parameter, like this.
Okay, to prove that it worked, I'm going to do the same thing, but with a different author. So I'm going to copy this entire thing. And let's say Shantaram, books by G.T. Roberts. Book by G.T. Roberts. And I'll change this to G.T. Roberts, which should give me Shantaram. There you go. Easy peasy.
Okay, so now notice we made a change and my editor picks up on it. And it says, hey, you forgot to provide the author. Let's do it now. Once again, Andy Weir. And this is a nice little refactor. Hopefully everything still works. And it does. But now notice that I've introduced a little more flexibility. And that's a lot of what programming is. Introducing flexibility, where things can adapt to different environments and different situations. So now if I want to filter by Philip K. Dick, let's copy all of that, bring it down. With any luck, we should now have an array with only a single item, and we loop over it. How cool is that?
Very cool.
Okay, but like I said, we still have a little more work to do here. This is a little unsophisticated. I think we can do better. In the next episode, we'll talk about dedicated PHP functions. I'll see you then.
Okay, amazing. Thank you for sticking through with me. I'm sorry you had to watch me debug this live, but I hope this helped you and I hope it was enjoyable. Okay, take care. Check out Laricast. The link is in the description. Huge shout out to Jeffrey Way. I love this series. This is easily my favorite tutorial series on PHP. Hello, Mohammed. Thank you. Thank you for sticking around. Oh, I have to sign in now? Sorry. Mohammed, I'm going to just talk to you in the comments. But thank you. Take care. Bye. Good night.